Good afternoon and welcome to the June 27th regular meeting of the DeKalb Board of Registration and Elections. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask if Ms. Austin would please call the roll.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board members. When I call your name, please respond by saying here. Nancy Jester. Anthony Lewis.
Here.
Dele Loman Smith.
Here.
Susan Motter.
Here.
Carly Swift.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and get these minutes approved with great thanks to Ms. Waite and Ms. Smith and Mr. Catherwood and whomever else contributed to pulling all of these minutes together. I'll take them one at a time and ask for a motion to approve the May 27th special call meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the May 27th special call meeting minutes, please signify by raising your right hand and saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those pass unanimously. Can we get a motion to approve the May 31st regular meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion of those minutes? All in favor of approving the May 31st regular meeting minutes, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Can we get a motion to approve the May 31st special call meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I noticed one minor error that also applies to one other that I'll bring up for that one. On page 11 of those minutes, I am listed as Director Loman Smith versus Chair Loman Smith. Very innocent mistake. So just wanted to make sure that that's corrected for clarity. It's under board comments on page 11. Any other discussion or corrections to those minutes? All in favor of approving the May 31st special call meeting minutes, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That also passes unanimously. Motion to approve, or can we get a motion for the June 3rd special call meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, colleagues? And I noticed the same mistake in those on page 17 under board comments. If we could just address that. Okay, all in favor of approving the June 3rd special call meeting minutes, please raise your right hand and signify by saying
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Aye. That passes unanimously. And finally, can we get a motion for the June 10th special call meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the June 10th special call meeting minutes, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you all. That passes unanimously. We can begin public comments.
Good afternoon. Public comment or 2 minutes or less may be made live via the teleconference. For those joining the meeting by telephone, please be aware that your phone number may be displayed to the public viewing or participating in the online meeting. Citizens who attend the meeting via the Zoom link may join the public comment queue by raising their hand in the Zoom application, while citizens who attend the meeting via telephone may join the comment queue by pressing pound followed by the number 2. There will be no comment card, so when you are called upon, please state your name for the record. Also, please be conscious of speaking time so that everyone has an opportunity to provide input in the allotted time. Abusive, profane, or derogatory language will not be permitted.
Thank you so much, Ms. Austin. And as a friendly reminder, #2 or use the raise hand feature to get into the queue. Our first speaking request is from Colette Friss. I will ask her to unmute. If she would like to start her video, she may. And please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Sonia Colette Fricks. I live at 3889 Baya Way in unincorporated DeKalb County, 30340. And first, I just want to thank you all for all the effort that you've put in. I know it's been a lot of hours and a lot of frustration and a lot of things to figure out. And I am very grateful to each and every one of you. I mean that. I am so grateful. And you make me so proud to be a DeKalb County resident. And now I got to ask you for more. My priorities are elders and people with disabilities and people that work off irregular hours, shift workers, because that's who my family is. So I'm just wanting you to have as many opportunities for shift workers to vote as possible. And like the 7 to 7 hours are good. The Sunday hours are great. Because, some people that they actually get Sunday off. And so if you could extend the Sunday hours, I would really appreciate that. And that's it. And again, just thank you, thank you, thank you.
And thank you so much for your comments. Our next request is from Naomi Bach. I'll ask Naomi to unmute. If she'd like to start her video, she may. And please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. My name is Naomi Bach. I live at 335 West Ponce de Leon Avenue in Decatur. I also want to start by thanking the board for the impressive amount of work, just approving the minutes of the meeting. Those meetings were like the iceberg of all the work we've had to do over the previous several weeks, and I'm incredibly proud and impressed with all that you have done. My request, I was a poll worker, and at least one request, which is that several people came in with their absentee or mail-in ballots and said they just weren't sure that they had gotten them in time or that they had done them correctly or what to do with them. And so they were easily declared spoiled and they were allowed to vote. It was handled very well at my precinct, but it seems to be an area where more clarification could be used by the voters as to exactly how they can feel sure that their voting ballots will be, mail-in ballots will be used. And then I want to echo Ms. Fricks about the Sunday voting. I hope we can have every available, which I think is 2 Sunday votings for early votings. That's so important to the population in DeKalb. And then to end again with just my gratitude for all your work. And that's it.
Thank you so much for your comments. Our next request is from Janet Grant. I'll ask Janet to unmute. If she'd like to start her video, she may. And please state your name and address for the record.
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting. Good afternoon. My name's Janet Grant, and I live at 239 Greenwood Circle in the city of Decatur. I'm the poll manager for the Ponce de Leon precinct in Decatur, and also a redistricting and voting rights advocate. I have 3 items to share with you today. First of all, I want to thank our new director, Director Smith, and this board for approving the salary increases for our administrative and monitor clerk poll workers. It was very much appreciated to acknowledge the roles that these folks play at a basic living wage level. Second, I am concerned about the decrease in the number of registered voters in DeKalb County over the last 18 months, down 53,818 from our high in January of 2021, a full 10% decrease. I assume this is due to the DMV issue, but really encourage this board to consider proactive ways to address this before the midterm elections, as well as all the voting rights organizations out there to, again, focus on the need for voter registration. And lastly, I continue to be concerned about the impact of Senate Bill 202 on out of precinct voters. In our poll, we've been tallying those sent away before 5 p.m., just informally. It was 30 in November, 30 again in May, and then 10 for the June runoff. Some left with the intent to go and vote at the correct location, but others stated this was their one window to vote in the day, and therefore they would not be voting. The precinct cards that are being sent right now should help with this, but I haven't received it, and no one that I know has received the cards yet. But last week, we had one voter bring in her new card to the poll, and her question was, why was the VRE asking for her for a change of address? And I think it's confusing with the format of the card, unfortunately. She had not even realized that you could open the card and find your voting location and your districts. So again, I encourage this board and voting rights organizations to increase efforts to educate voters on their correct voting locations prior to the midterms, so we have fewer of these out of precinct voters that may not end up voting in our elections. So thanks very much for the opportunity to comment today and for all the work that you're doing to improve elections here in DeKalb County. Thank you.
And thank you so much for your comments. Last call, pound
Thank
2,
you.
or use the raise hand feature if you would like to make a comment. And at this time, Madam Chair, there are no additional hands raised.
Thank you, John. Okay, let's move on to items for decision. The first is a recount request, and I'd like to recognize Ms. Smith to provide some explanation before asking for a motion to open the floor for discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, we were in receipt of a recount request from Ms. Adams, who was a candidate in the House District 86 district race, and staff determined during the canvassing and our due diligence throughout last week that there was no evidence of error or discrepancy that would merit such a recount. And so that's what we have today, and can answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you. Can I, Ms. Motter, would you like to be recognized to make a motion to open discussion?
Yes, I move that we deny the request for a recount in the House District 86 race.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Motter, would you like to be recognized for discussion?
Yes, I would also like for our director, Ms. Smith, to add for the public record whether the candidate requesting the recount made any allegations regarding discrepancies or such as the basis for her recount request.
The only communication that I received, Ms. Motter, from the candidate was an email simply stating that she wanted a recount. There was no additional documentation supporting the request at all. So not to my knowledge, I'm not aware of any additional information submitted by the candidate. I did not receive any.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions, or discussion on this item, board members? Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to deny the recount request for the HD 86 race. Yes, Ms. Motter.
One thing we have not mentioned for the public record is the name of the individual making the request. So I think we need to also add that to the record. Director Smith can do that for us.
I agree. Ms. Smith, you're recognized.
Okay, yes, the candidate's name is Jacqueline Adams.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor to deny Ms. Adams' request for a recount in the HD 86 race. Are we ready for the vote? All in favor of denying the recount request, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, so that passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item is certification of the June 21st general primary runoff. Can we get a motion to open discussion, and then I'll recognize Ms. Smith.
Motion to open discussion.
Motion.
Point of order.
Yes, what's your,
Just a friendly amendment perhaps to Ms. Swift's motion. I think the motion should be for approval, and then we can discuss the motion.
Yes, so I accept that. So I'll restate the motion. Motion to approve, to certify the election results for the June 21st election, runoff election.
Second.
fantastic. Ms. Smith, you are recognized.
Thank you. First, I want to just thank the staff of VRE for working diligently to ensure that we were able to run an efficient election with transparency for the June 21st runoff. We had a great day. Even the advanced voting period the week prior, we had very few issues that were mitigated as they arose. And it really was a good opportunity for registered voters in DeKalb to make their voices heard. And we were able to do that efficiently during this June 21st runoff. And so what you have today presented in the packet are the official and complete results for the board to consider for certification of the election.
Is that, am I experiencing breaking up, or are other people noticing that Ms. Smith is breaking up?
She did break up towards the end that time.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I can repeat. CIO Matowski, can you, is it something on my end that you notice? Yeah,
Yes, right
it's
now it appears
unstable.
your connection is a little unstable for some reason. I don't know if you could switch to some other hotspot or.
Thank you. Do you mind holding 1 second?
Oh, that's fine. I'll recognize any other board members who may have questions. I think we heard most of the gist of what you were saying. Board members, any questions or comments on this before we take the vote? Okay, all right. Are we ready for the question? All in favor of certifying the results of the June 21st general primary runoff, please signify by raising your right hand and saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. And that passes unanimously. Thank you. Next is items for discussion. I don't see a commissioner present.
You are correct, Madam Chair. None at this time.
Okay, for commissioners' comments, great. So let's move on to the director's report. And Ms. Smith, you have the floor once again.
Thank you. I'm going to ask CIO Matowski to share his screen. What I had prepared, staff provided information regarding the elections that allowed us to share this post-election report, which just has some high-level detail that I think you will find beneficial as we continue to improve our processes and make sure that every eligible voter in DeKalb is able to cast their ballots. And so what we have here on slide that first slide on page 27 is voter registration information. And so we did have 18,928 new registrations year to date. And so that change is 61,690. You will see below that the number of deletions. Those were either canceled for various reasons or transferred out of our county. The turnout is on the next slide. We have 501,034 active voters. And so that can seem as if we have decreased in voter throughout the county, but those are active voters. So they are still, the additional numbers who are not active for whatever reason. And we are working to identify those reasons and, doing our due diligence to increase awareness about voter registration in DeKalb County. For this election, on June 21st, we had 45,743 of those active voters who turned out to vote. On election day, it was 27,493, advance voting 14,456, absentee by mail 3,767 voters, and provisional 27, for again a total of 45,743 voters. We have seen an increase in advance voting. It is something that has become popular in DeKalb County. You'll note that there's a 32% increase from the 2018 primary runoff. So in 2018, there was 10% of voters that turned out, and now we had 32%, for the June 21st runoff election. So we're excited, and that makes us, informs our planning around the number of sites and the placement of those sites as we think about November. And this is just a breakdown for that total number of advanced voting. You'll see where the activity was. Of course, we have most of the voters come to one of the two locations here at Memorial Drive, which we had for that week, 4,088 voters. But we also saw good numbers at our South DeKalb Mall location, as well as the neighborhood church, the new location in Atlanta and Tucker, which also usually has high percentage of our DeKalb voters voting at that location. Here, again, absentee ballot remains high. Those that are voting by absentee ballot, we had an increase of about 4% from 2018. So in 2018, there were 4% who cast their ballots by absentee, and this year we had 8%. So we had an increase there as well. And this is just a summary of our UACAVAs and domestic ballots. There were a total of 3,908. And the next slide breaks down the provisional, and you'll see that we had just a small number that were rejected, a total of 9 rejected, invalid signatures for 3, provisional cured 2, but a total with those categories listed on the right we had 150 that were rejected, and the majority of them were rejected because we received them after the deadline, unfortunately. Election day, precincts, we had 191, 176 polling places. We trained, as of June 13th, 1,462 poll workers. And the equipment tested and deployed is listed there, 352 poll pads. The touch screens that we had out across the county totaled 1,707, and then 176 scanners. And last slide here just shows the election day provisionals. We did have a total of 33, and you'll see that 6 were rejected and 27 out of those 33 were accepted. And that concludes the election, post-election report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Any questions or comments for Ms. Smith? Okay, thank you. Ms. Vander Els, did we have a need for an executive session this afternoon?
No need for an executive session today.
Okay, thank you. All right. Very efficient meeting today, everyone. All right, so we're at board comments, and I will just go alphabetically and recognize Vice Chair Jester first.
Thank you. Thank you for your report, Ms. Smith. I have no comments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. Lewis, you're recognized.
Thank you. I have no comments today.
Thank you. Ms. Motter.
I also have no comments today, so thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks. Ms. Swift.
No comments. Thank you.
And I'm not going to break the trend. And so just thank you, everyone. And I will ask for a motion to, Ms. Smith, do you want to address when you need us to come in to sign the documentation?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. If you're able to come in today, if that is possible, that would be great. We will be delivering if you're able to come today. If you're not able to come until tomorrow, we will deliver the packet to the Secretary of State's office tomorrow. But today, if you're able to come, we'll be here. If not, just let me know your plans of, stopping by to sign the paperwork between today and tomorrow.
Thank you. Can we get a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I think I froze. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.